Welcome back to another episode of Creative Lens. I'm your host, Uncle Dyce, aka Malume. Today is a Saturday in the city of Cape Town. Nice, hot, and sunny. Beautiful summer, I must say. And today's guest is a very special human. She embodies what this podcast is all about, and she's been one of the first people I wanted to actually interview from the beginning. And work, that's how busy she is. Work and everything else has got her quite tied up. She's a producer. She's a stylist, model, activist.
Oh, wow.
Cool human, overall, good person, beautiful, smart. Everybody, welcome to the show. Chloe, how you doing?
Good. Hi. Thank you. That was such a, wow, my reputation precedes me. That was great. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
How you feeling?
Initially quite nervous. I'm not really I'm a yapper between myself and my friends. But when it comes to a recording, I'm a bit nervous. But I'm excited to just have a conversation with a homie and yeah.
And wow, it's how you feeling about the weather in the city?
Oh, so good, finally. I mean, I'm away from home in Joburg and all my friends are having the summer of their lives. So I am happy we finally have some sun.
Wow, so you're away from Joburg. So is Joburg home?
Yes, Joburg is home now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Then I guess then I mean, if we're there, then let's just take it straight there. Who is Chloe? Tell us about where was Chloe born and your early beginnings.
So I was born in Cape Town, born and raised in Cape Town my entire life. I am a girl from the south, but we moved around quite a bit. But I was mainly based in Lansdowne, Archery, Kenwyn. Went to Sunlands and Norman Henshaw Hood.
Nice.
Was always a quite busy child. Knew that I wanted to do a lot, but never knew how to do it.
Wow. So busy how?
Busy, just lots of dreams and wondering and always kind of longing for more. And I think as a kid, I didn't necessarily know how to do that. So it was just lots of activities, being an RCL member, wanting to organize all the matric ball after parties, just wanting to be very
after party.
Active. Yeah.
Oh, did you organize an after party?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a bit of a mess, but it was good. I mean, I guess that's young me just wanting to.
So would you say that's where putting things together started? No. I mean, I'm not that you put in music videos and stuff, but
no, definitely. I guess I always had a desire to bring people together, and to just share space or work with a team in some capacity, whether it's sports or student council or an extramural. So I guess
student council.
Yeah.
Wow, were you prefect?
I mean, yeah, yes, I was. I was on the RCL, and shame. One thing about me, I tried every single year.
Wait, what is RCL?
I forgot what the actual breakdown is, but essentially it's a student body at a school. So each grade has a few members of the student body, and then in matric there's obviously more members, and they consider prefects.
So then at matric, what was your subject? Or subject? I mean, what was your go-to subject? Where you be this one, my eyes closed.
Oh, history for sure.
Oh, history.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm very proud. I got 92% when I matriculated.
Oh, shout out to you.
She's a writer. I love learning about the origins of things and people and community. Yeah.
It makes sense. Again, now that you say that, and versus the work you now do,
yeah,
it actually makes a lot of sense. And sport-wise, did you do sport?
Oh, shame. I really tried. And I think my dad was he was obsessed with rugby, and so he never had a son. So we definitely tried touch rugby, hockey. I tried. And for me, it was more about the community and the camaraderie than it necessarily was about me being a sportswoman.
Yeah.
But I did it, and I tried on and off for a few years, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself a sportswoman.
Okay, so this is matric high school. What happens after that?
Oh, after that, we moved to Stellenbosch.
Oh, and how was that?
It was polarizing. It was good to get away and have what I saw in the movies of a university experience, houses, living in an apartment with my best friend at the time. It was so exciting. I felt the world was my oyster.
What were you studying at the time?
I was studying social work.
Very interesting again.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy because all of us come from a different background.
Yeah.
and I'm an engineer. And yeah, and also the Christians the same. But everybody actually does something else. In fact, in our world, it's very common to have a lot of people from the outside moving into it as a creative. And how was the social work experience?
It was great. It was a big part of, like, I think some of the values I carry through my work today. But it really taught me to be intentional and look out for signs and how to have conversations with people about the difficult things. No, it was an amazing experience. Yeah.
Digital marketing?
Oh, oh wow. Digital marketing came at a time where I was having a bit of confusion about my career and what I wanted to do. And I had then dropped out of university. So as a dropout, I knew I liked fashion. I loved marketing. I loved, like, understanding why brands do the things that they do.
Yeah.
And I loved making the content, but I didn't know how that was going to translate into a career or a job. And it was just before COVID, and I was like, okay, shit, like, I've done all of the jobs possible. Like, I've worked in the call center. I've been a hostess.
How was the call center?
It was interesting. And, you know, like, I think when I was there, I bashed it a little bit, and I was, like, a bit ashamed of this profession. But I think now in what I do, I'm so confident over the phone. I can do emails, like, quite quickly. And had it not been for, like, that call center experience, I wouldn't have been able to carry those skills into production.
Wow, that's crazy. And being an air hostess, how was that?
Oh, being a hostess, like, at a restaurant.
A restaurant. Oh my word! Oh my word! How was that?
It was good. It taught me how to balance, like, pressure and everybody wanting something from you, but you have to stick to the plan and the flow. It was quite interesting. It was a high pressure environment. It also taught me, like, service and being kind and how far they can go. Yeah, I think every odd job that I've ever done in my life has taught me something. Yeah,
it is because if you look, like, when you're on set, the pressure of just being on set.
Yeah.
Again, go back to hostess, right? Or go back. There's a lot of training grounds from those particular worlds that you almost have to strip down everything else you know when you're on set.
Yeah.
And just come and say, okay, I'm dealing with people. If things go wrong, how do we pivot? How do we change? Wow, that's quite interesting. So how do you move down this path to finding out what you want to do? Do you recall what that moment was or the opportunity was to say, because yes, you're thinking about making content. What was your aha moment to say, I will be doing content?
I got a job at Africa Creative Agency, ACA, in Johannesburg. And this is now after I've, like, moved from Cape Town to Joburg, and just with, like, a suitcase and a dream. And, like,
but then why Joburg?
I felt like I wanted a new challenge. I also just was, like, really interested in, like, the fashion culture they had going that side, just the youth culture. I feel like the culture in Joburg is, like, a completely different beast and energy, and I really wanted to tap into that. I wanted to be pushed. I felt like I had reached a little bit of a ceiling in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And I knew everyone that, like, I wanted to know. I don't know if that...
No, it makes sense. I mean, Joburg is the city of gold. I mean, everybody goes to Joburg, really.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to move, if you want to progress in your career. Yeah. So I take it was no different to everybody else at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, you land in Joburg.
I land in Joburg, still working at the call center, but, like, online, trying to figure out how I'm going to make it work, but at least, like, my bills are paid. And I catch up with a friend from university that I hadn't seen in years, and I'm like, oh my God, you're here. And she's also a Cape Town girl, Jade. Now my best friend and sister. And we catch up, and she's telling me she's working for this company, and she's been seeing some of the work that I've been doing online and some of the brands I've been building, and she thinks that I have a chance, and she'll send me the email, and I should send my CV through, and just a little bit later.
So what book was this online? Was it the I Bleed content?
It was some of that. It was some of the I Bleed content. She'd also just known me from university, knew that I was quite a creative who was trying to just do anything and take photos of anyone doing anything. Also, I'd worked for an amazing entrepreneur and influencer, Rishtush.
Yeah.
And so we worked quite closely, building out her rebrand and bringing to life some physical products. She's in the health and wellness space.
Yeah.
And she's really always been a champion there, but to just see the evolution of a brand.
So what were you doing there at the time? Was it photography, strategy?
I was kind of like a personal assistant who just wanted to do more.
Yeah.
So I was really just assisting her with scheduling, with the brand. And then that moved to like researching products, trying to help her develop this product line that she had been ideating for a while, meeting with suppliers, talking to the branding, like planning a physical execution event of like how we bring her clothing collection and her pharmaceuticals to life. So it was a really great opportunity. She gave me the space to grow as a human and just show her what my offering could be, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I see there's a lot of energy of just going out to get it.
Yeah.
Like you live in Cape Town, going to job work, meeting with your mate. So you meet with your mate, she's telling you about this. What job comes after that at the time?
Social media manager at ACA, at Africa Creative Agency.
Social media manager?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
So I had gone, and the back end of this, I'd gone to like digital marketing school online. I did a few courses. I then implemented that work at Rushdish and was able to help grow her platform and her audience. And then took all of those like lived examples and kind of put it together as a body of work to become a social media manager at ACA. Wow. And then at ACA, really what I was doing was working with artists and amazing actors and business people.
Name some artists at the time?
Nasty C, Amak Mamata, Paul Tusi, Sauti Soul from Kenya. Those were all like the initial clients that I started working with to help with their releases and their brands. And
okay, so you're doing the social media manager work at the time.
Yeah.
How do you pivot? What's the next pivot? What got you interested in other things?
So because I'm the social media manager at the time, again, I'm someone who uses an opportunity as a step into the room. And once I'm there, I really show them what I'm fully capable of.
Yeah.
And so when I was in this space, I noticed that there was a lot of shortfall when it came to like, I was ideating the ideas for content, but who was producing the content and making the content and making my ideas come to life.
Bring them to life.
Yes. And I noticed that there was a bit of a gap in when I would brief people. I don't think they really understood, or I don't think that they were given the right system to be able to produce good work. So I started stepping into more of a content producer role. I started with a few still shoots, social media work like TikToks, Reels.
Yeah.
I would go to artists' house. I'd help them film things. I'd edit it for them. I'd show them, you know, what I think the next idea is, measure the analytics. And I think through that work, I got the opportunity for one of the artists I was working on to now produce a music video.
Wow, analytics. Looking at the numbers.
Looking at the numbers.
What that engagement rate is.
Yes.
Okay. So the first artist you made this video with, what's the artist?
Her name's Freya. Amazing R&B artist. She actually sings the Blood and Water theme song.
What?
Yeah, and so we were really like working on her brand and developing her as an up and coming like artist. Incredible talent.
So what year is this?
This is 2021, the beginning of 2021.
This is COVID, eh?
Yeah.
This is peak COVID time. Okay.
Yeah.
So how was that? How were you navigating the space during COVID?
I mean, it was really interesting because I think for like the entertainment industry, we were all stuck and we were all trying to figure out how we can continue to provide the service of entertaining the world through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
We had to do some, illegal things like keeping my boss's house open all throughout the weekend as like a roaming studio that artists would just come in and out of because we couldn't go to the actual studio.
Yeah.
We were looking for places to buy alcohol so that we could have drinks in the studio for artists. So we had to make things work. But I think for me, COVID was really the time where I could play. I felt like the world had stopped. Yeah. And so a lot of like the pressure had stopped and I could just figure out like what it is that I want to do and how I want to show up,
So how much work did you work on at the time? Was it the music video or were you actively still busy at the time?
No, I was actively still busy.
Yeah.
We were working throughout COVID. We just all worked from home. And a lot of our shoots we condensed to be smaller once we could shoot. Yeah.
Okay. And at the time, what was your role in this time around? What was your role then?
What was my role at ACA?
Yeah, I mean, just overall, were you a producer? Were you still pushing the content?
I was doing everything at the same time because I didn't necessarily have the room to just be a producer. I was hired for a job and I was hired to be a social media manager. So I was doing all of my social media management, but then still trying to convince them that I could produce and producing the videos.
Okay, so at what point now did you get the title producer?
It was after I did 2 music videos, and we were just doing like a post-job debrief and talking about it. And my boss was just mentioning that, like, you know, initially he was quite nervous because it was a lot of money that he was putting in my hands to do something.
Yeah.
And I'd never done it before, but he was like, it's gone better than when we've engaged an outside supplier.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just feel like you know the way that we want to work. You understand things. Like, you're doing amazing. Do you want to do this? He just asked me, do you want to do this?
So then, to everybody out there, what is a producer? As best as you know it.
As best as I know it. And I think I would say that I don't speak from a place of like authority. I speak from a place of like lived experience and just my journey. But to me, a producer is someone who brings a team together to make the creative happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on set, what's the role of a producer?
I mean, my role starts before set even happens.
Okay, just run us through.
Okay. So, I mean, in sometimes it's a director reaching out to me and being like, hey, Chloe, I have this job that I want to get off the line. I have this client who is maybe an artist. I want to do this music video. This is the idea I have. This is how much money they have. Can we make this happen? And then what I start to do is create a budget, create costing, speak to the relevant suppliers, make sure that I've spoken to the director about who their preferred crew is, make sure that I'm facilitating space for all of the creative meetings. So this is like the briefing of wardrobe art. This is the briefing between the director and the DOP. This is the meeting between the director and the client. So I'm kind of there alongside the director to make sure that this wheel keeps moving and that we essentially have a job that's actually happening. Yeah.
Wow. Very much project manager based, almost.
Yes, like project manager based.
On steroids.
Sure, on steroids. because you bring, essentially, I'm responsible for bringing all of the elements together. So from catering, from locations, insurance, safety, the fact that the job actually is able to happen. We have gear, we have locations, we have crew, we have cost, we have all of those elements I need to ensure are there. And
a producer really brings everything together.
Yes.
Okay, so now you are producer now.
Yeah.
Where do you go to next? 'Cause I see you got a lot of body of work, but I guess where I'm trying to go is, let's talk about that start.
Yeah.
So now you're a producer now. What's the first project that you were able to say, okay, I've put in the work? Because you did put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, you did put in the work. Now you're a producer. What's the first project you tackle?
The first project I tackle is Sauti Soul. So Sauti Soul went through like a change where they were a band and a group, and they all decided after and during COVID that they want to go out on their own and produce their own bodies of work. So it was working quite closely with the Sauti Soul artists like Bien and Savara. We did a few music videos in Kenya and did a few music videos here in Johannesburg. I was still with ACA at the time. Still trying to make it work, doing both social media and production, because that's the only way I could get into the space. And yeah, honestly, it was music videos that built my real
So how was that?
portfolio.
When Sauti Soul is big, man. So just tell us more. When you're on set and as a producer, how does it work for photography? I never seem to get it.
Oh, like how I produce for stills?
Yeah, for stills. Yeah, just give us more of a rundown of how you did, particularly in this one here.
Okay, so I mean, for that one, a lot of the idea behind that creative was ideated by Paperco. So that is BN's creative direction firm. So they kind of sent us a brief of what they ideated and what they want us to achieve with the shots. And then from me, I got the budget from client, like how much they're willing to spend on this job and on the shoot. Then I contact the photographer, brief him based on the budget and what the ask is, who's the artist. And then from there, the photographer and I really like start to
So
make the
sets,
job.
location,
Then we
props,
book the
color.
location. I'll brief an art director if we need one, or I will brief maybe a lighting assistant if he needs one. But really just like bringing everyone together, making sure that the gear stays on budget, the human people stay on budget. I'll organize the catering, make sure that there's everything set up nicely for my client when they arrive. make sure that they come on set on time, all of those good
Oh wow! I mean that is crazy, man. And another element that I just want to discuss was, as a producer, how involved. I know you spoke about choosing your teams, building teams.
Yeah.
I love your work. You're very inclusive in the communities, and the team that you put together. Very much bold. I love it. Very female. I love that. Big in the, let's say, queer space.
Yeah.
LGBTQ. Just tell us more about your thinking and why that particular way for you, and why that is important for you.
I think every producer has their producing style.
Yeah.
I think mine is so community focused.
Yeah, I love that.
The beginning of where I build my jobs out, because essentially what we're doing, it's a huge undertaking. Any job, whether it's a music video, whether it's a still shoot, there's a lot of responsibility put on the team that they're able to achieve this creative look, that they're able to get it from A to B. There's so many potential fuck ups and things that happen in between that for me it's become more and more apparent that I have to have a team who's in it for the right reasons.
Correct.
Who's going to work together well, and I have to take in mind, okay, how has person A worked with person B before? Do I need to have a conversation there? Okay, maybe person A prefers C, D, and E. Okay, and I make sure that this time I'm building them up to have that opportunity. But to be honest, I really just feed off people's energy. So I think the initiative and the energy and the desire that you bring to a job, I receive. And based on that is who I decide is in my team. Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of work, eh?
It's so much work. I was telling my friend, I think producers were professional space holders, because we need to understand, okay, so there's a timeline I need to achieve. There's a budget I need to do it in. There's a director who wants the world of me, and I want to fight for that creative to make sure it happens. But also I have 150 humans on the set who are all human beings who come in with their own energy and their own lives and their own story. And so when I'm putting pressure from a client onto my creatives to do it faster or go harder or push more, I also need to understand my delivery needs to be tailored to who that person is, Yeah.
So that's why holidays are always quite important in rest.
Oh my goodness, it's so big.
How was Senegal?
Oh, Senegal was a dream. Oh my God. It was everything and more. And it was also the first time I've ever traveled not for work.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's no, 'cause, hey, I was living through your stories hey, this could be me. No, that was definitely dope. Rocking the daisies.
Yeah.
What does an artist logistics manager do?
Okay. So an artist logistics manager is essentially someone who's responsible for the travel and well-being and the flow of travel for artists when they're coming into a festival.
Okay.
So with Daisies, I can't remember the exact number, but I know that it was around 80 to 85 artists that we had coming through, and that's DJs, that's artists with bands, band members, their management,
teams,
booking agents, teams, everything. And so it's really essentially about us making a system that they can all travel seamlessly, efficiently, and then for the internationals that come in, that they are set up with a nice hospitality program so that they have things to do, they can see our country and experience the beauty. And then also most importantly, just making sure they get to festival site on time to perform for the audience.
Wow. And is this the first time doing the Daisies?
It was my first time in this official role. I think that everything I've done and all of my jobs always prepare me for the next one, whether I'm mindful of that or not. And so I think all of my years at ACA, traveling with artists, understanding their whys, the way they're motivated, the way they show up on time, or if they're late, what are the reasons behind that? Because their lives are also so filled with pressure and everyone wants something all the time. And so you also need to understand that when you're having conversations with them. So yeah, I think all of that has kind of prepared me for this role.
And how big was your team?
I just need to count. I had 5 local tour managers, and their responsibility was essentially they were assigned to each international artist, and they were responsible for managing their time, making sure they went to shows and art galleries and beautiful dinners and made it to site on time. It's also like a local contact. If our artist needs anything, they have someone with him at all times. And then, I mean, the Daisies Festival team as itself is just huge. Like, huge. It's an incredible feat that so many people can come together and put their little hand on something that's such a part of a bigger picture. I mean, our shuttle driver team was about like 30 drivers with 3 guys who were kind of like the main in charge people who would then come to me and we would put it into schedules. I had an amazing assistant who was helping me with like hotels and the shuttle schedule. So yeah, I think my team, entirely the Daisies team, I think is definitely over 200. If you're just thinking of like right down to every security guard,
everyone
site,
else,
you know, it's a huge team.
Wow, that's well, I never actually have believed that you know, but I guess that's definitely something that's key to make like to make events like that come, that just to bring them to life. 100%. And then this is obviously outside lighting, sound, and everything else, right? Oh my word.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot, eh?
Yeah.
And then everyone is just touching one piece of that. Oh wow. Yeah. Nice to see.
Oh, love him.
Just maybe let's talk your beginnings, your relationship with him, because I do see there's a lot of body of work that you guys have put together all the way to the documentary. And so how did that start, and just walk us through that?
I mean, I think with Narcissi, it was really incredible that I was able to keep it together because I'm such a fan of his work.
Know.
Like, I'm such a fan. And he was one of the artists on the roster at ACA. So I really started working with him and interacting with him when I was at ACA. And so the bulk of our work was really just me as an extension of ACA to him, or kind of like his creative ACA contact. I think that I don't know about our relationship. I think that it's good. We work together quite often. But I think I also give my artists space to be themselves. You know? I'm not, when I work with people, I don't necessarily have to be your best friend or have like a really deep relationship. I understand that he has like a big life and so many people that want a piece of him. So I think I'm just respectful of the trust in me that I'm able to do the job.
No, that's great, because we saw the music video. I mean, there's an underwater scene. Just run us into that. How did you do that?
So the underwater scene, there was obviously like an underwater squad to film everything that happened, and then Junior was in a shark cage himself, and the camera had like the what is it? Sorry, this is really bad. But it's like the underwater casing. The rigs that record that. And how many takes was that? How many takes? I think it was 6 on the Marines side, and then 4 of our crew that went through.
Wow.
And it was also an away job, so I wasn't with them when they actually achieved that shot. We had set up everything for them in planning, and we flew like a small team out there. Budget restrictions.
Nice. And I just liked how you guys did that, and even the scene where he's buried in the sand.
Yes.
Wow. So this is you bring all the creative elements to life.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's definitely dope. And then the documentary, just give us more about that. Where can one watch that documentary? Is it out yet?
Yeah, so it's on YouTube. It premiered on MTV, and we had it there for a little bit of time, but it's on YouTube now, and you can search it there. Narcissi, I Love It Here. Wow, it was such a undertaking initially. It was my first time doing a documentary, and it's something I've always wanted to do. And I think it was really important for me to bring on the right people to like assist me. So I actually brought on my partner, Priya, to be our director and really give us narrative, and like for us to be able to understand, okay, how do we actually film this? How do we go into this and make sure? Because essentially what happened is the artist just gave us access to him for 2 weeks. You know, we were in the house that they were recording in Camps Bay, and my team was essentially just there following them around with a camera 24/7. So it was also like, it was a lot, and so it was also important for me to have the right director on board to be able to like sift all of the things we're shooting into an actual narrative and story, and to give
connect that.
Yes, and connect the dots.
So how long does a project like that take? Like after 1 or 2 weeks of recording, edit time, cutting room?
I think we were in post for 6 months.
Wow.
There were so many versions, and so because we were building out narrative as we were shooting, and also trying to build it and harness it more in post. So I think post was like our longest journey, just because it was so much footage to sift through.
Yeah.
And you want to also understand, why am I showing this moment at this pace and not another moment at a different pace? And we really only had 15 minutes to tell the story.
It's crazy. 6 months to give you 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah. Plus like 3 months of pre-production and like 3 weeks of shooting.
It's really a labor of love.
Truly a labor of love.
Wow.
15 minutes, yeah.
Oh my word. And how's Joburg treating you?
Oh, Joburg is such a blessing. Like it's so good. It's really been like the pivotal move for me in my life and my career, to be able to see that my crazy dreams are possible and they're not crazy. It's also just inspiring to be around all of these creatives who are doing these amazing things. It's like, it's so true what they say, that steel sharpens steel. And I feel like in Joburg, it's definitely that energy. So I love it.
Wow. That and tell me a little bit more then about your daily process. I mean, when you're working on projects, how do you start when you get a project? I mean, beyond briefing, yes, you're going to choose the team, but how do you tackle things in terms of bringing it to life? What's your process?
I think my process is to sit with the script or the treatment, make sure I read it through like quite a few times. And the first 2 times I'm reading it, I'm just reading it as an audience member, laughing along with the jokes, or like being like sad when they're sad, and just, I'm formulating my ideas on characters who I like, who's interesting to me, what part of it's interesting. I just allow myself to play in the first few run-throughs. And then I think I break it down from like a technical perspective, like, okay, how many locations is this? How many cast members am I seeing?
Okay.
Kind of break it down into what are the elements that I need to sort out. How many like locations, wardrobe? Is it a specific brief for an art direction? What is the world that we're in? And then I think about the budget and how much I actually have to make it happen. And then as I'm doing the budget and putting, I think, numbers into line items, I'm then able to say like, okay, this is how I'm going to cut this corner, or this is how I'm going to do it. I really work through it when I'm doing the budget and start making my notes so that I can tell my director, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I've also seen that you're working some other cool stuff, like for Standard Bank, you put in some work there. Can you just highlight a bit more of what you were doing there, or what the event was all about?
Yeah, no, that was just an incredible journey with B Diamond Head, who is always one of my favorite collaborators and just resources and support systems like in this industry. I do want to shout B out, because she was definitely one of the first people who like believed and pushed me and always made room for me in any room, yeah, love you. And then, so it was B's first time kind of creative directing and exhibition experience. So she chose 10 artists to come together. The title of the exhibition is called We Are Culture, to kind of speak on their contribution to culture and so there were quite a few elements. We had like a physical exhibition of this art that included a live performance as well. We also then had a beautiful editorial shoot where we did some gorgeous stills and some great video interviews to kind of live on longer, so that people could understand who all of these artists were and connect with their personal stories. And then we also made a gorgeous coffee table book with the entire exhibition in it, and just some more detail and stories about like their creative process and what they do. So it kind of lived as an experience, as a book, as stills, and as a video.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And I should talk to you then, because I'm trying to do a photo book too.
No, let's chat.
Yeah, I definitely have to, because I'm not really getting the data I need, like in terms of, I know what I want to do exactly, but I'm not getting the data that I actually need to actually bring the project to life. Oh, wow. And then tell me, let's just go back a little bit. And when you look back at your journey, when you look back at where you started and where you are now, I see, you're very confident. I must say, very confident. how have you dealt with that? Because a lot of conversations, I have, whether it's closed doors, open platforms like this here, it's imposter syndrome. Just tell us a little bit more about how do you get around things like that? Especially, I mean, now that you're here where you are, and definitely you definitely navigated through it and you made it out on the other side, which is now, how have you handled that?
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to anyone?
Yeah. It's definitely still like a journey that pops up. I always have my moments as well. I think that for me, the biggest first step in like regaining my confidence and my power and letting go of the imposter syndrome was moving to Joburg, like taking that risk for myself that like, you know what, I'm going to push myself beyond all of my anxious thoughts in Cape Town. Like I need to open up my eyes and see that the world is bigger, that I have more to offer. And so I think when I did that and when I just noticed everyone's energy in Joburg, everyone's hustling.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing their thing. Everyone's thriving. It's like no one actually gives a fuck whether they seem genuine or not. They're going to try. And I think just watching people like try so aggressively just made me reflect on my own life and be like, okay, why am I holding back for?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, the person who is frustrated and sad is me. At the end of the day, the person who I need to reconcile those feelings. I go to bed and I think about, damn, I could have done that had I just said something. And honestly, I'm the most anxious girl. I know. I need everyone to understand that it's okay to have those feelings and it's okay to be in that mindset, but you have to push yourself to want
more.
I think that I never really asked anyone for their opinions about who I am. I showed up as who I am. In Cape Town, I'm still navigating this entire empire of film production and how you're supposed to be a coordinator from a PA to a production coordinator to a production manager.
There's a journey.
There's a journey.
But you're like, F it, I'm just going that way.
I'm going that way because at the end of the day, I was born to produce. I wasn't born to be a PM or be a coordinator. I can understand how those systems bring great value, and I'm able to humble myself. Right now, I'm working commercial season on the service end of it, and I'm able to humble myself and say, okay, you know what, this beast, I haven't been a part of this ecosystem. I'm entering as a production coordinator. So I'm production coordinating for this entire season until the end of Jan, because I understand the importance of having to humble yourself and learn and having to watch and see how it's done and earn your stripes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going to be bold and say thank you for that information. I've seen what I needed to see. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah, so there's a whole power of belief, right? And it's that you just have to believe in yourself. You know, you just trust the process and just have to take it and go. And I am, the more I'm listening to you now, and I'm really loving that energy. I'm just loving the fact that, because you've got a lot of, like now with the world of social, the way things are, there's a lot of pressure on everybody.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just forget the most basic thing is just doing.
Just doing it.
I was just talking to a producer now, and I was like, yo, there are a lot of talkers and then there are doers.
Yeah.
And doing is the thing that cures that fear. When you do it once, you do it twice, and
100%.
the more you do it, the more you get through that. And for you then to go back to yourself, how do you spend time to recharge? I mean, outside traveling, do you read books? Are you listening to music? What you doing?
I love to have like no sensory time. So like just smoke a joint, go to the beach, don't open my mouth to say a word. And I think that was a big part of Senegal. It was just like going by myself, spending intentional time alone, not talking, not watching TV, not consuming, just being a girl that could walk the street and be like, oh, there's a cool shop. Let me go in there and see what's going on there. So I really like to remove myself, take a phone break, a WhatsApp break, take some time away, really nest in my home. I like to cook with my friends.
Wow. What dishes are your favorite?
because I'm a Cape Malay girl, I'm gonna have to go with like curries, like butter chickens.
Oh my word, yeah, curries, I know, right?
But I also really like pasta. I like Italian food. Yeah, I take time away from the noise. Yeah.
And what you listening to right now?
Right now, I want to get into the new McLaren project because love McLaren down.
Funny enough, I actually saw him last night at the Sprite. And at the Sprite SA show they had at OBM. So shout out to that whole team over there.
No, shout out.
And they really job-backed it.
Yeah.
It was, the production was dope.
Yeah, don't play with the job.
Yeah, and it's...
Don't play with him.
Yeah, and you know, like, and with someone who documents a lot in the city.
Yeah.
I really was impressed.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Like I'm not the easiest person to impress.
Yes.
Right? Like, I'm a Virgo like that.
Yes.
You know, I need a lot of convincing.
Yes.
And they really had it so different.
I like that.
And funny enough, a friend of mine, Carter, P. Carter, is actually, I think he does exactly what you're doing at the Daisies, but just doing it here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was doing it there, and I was just like, you guys figured this out. The signage was dope. They had almost like a whole bed sign on a building with Sprite.
Oh, nice.
Blakey comes in with a Jeep middle crowd. Does such his performance from there. I was just like, why didn't we think of this in Cape Town? No, man. I'm shout out to the whole team at Sprite just for that. I think that for me has been crazy. Are you a big festival fan? I mean, obviously with the Daisies, are you a big festival fan?
Yes, I think I'm a big experience fan. I like to do something that's outside of my normal day-to-day life behind the Excel sheet. I like to be out connecting with people, bumping into people. I do love a good party.
I know. Exactly. Exactly. Passion project. What you working on?
I'm actually working on the launch of my business. So yeah, which is my life's passion project.
Okay. So what's your business focus?
My business is called Paper Friends. We're a creative production studio. We produce films, events, experiences, music videos, everything you can.
No, we should definitely connect because I also have an agency.
Oh, slay. Okay, that's synergy.
Yeah.
Agency always drives me insane. I love it. Welcome.
Yeah, no, I'm an agency guy, but I come more from the strategy paid media side. So I'll be the guy who come to you and say, look, I've got this budget. We need a TV ad.
Oh, nice.
That's sort of like what I'll come to do. So I'll be the guy who go to client, present the customer segmentations, who the customer is, tell them that's supposed to be on YFM or MTV based, kind of like that kind of work. And once the client sort of signs off that, and then you guys come in
and do our thing,
and you bring it to life.
Yes, and bring your ideas to life.
Oh wow! Yeah. So that's quite interesting. Yeah. And are you heading this up by yourself?
Yes, I am. I'm hitting it. It's my baby fully. I've also made the decisive effort to trade before I launch it socially because I think it's really important.
Oh no, it's very important. Trade first. I agree.
Yes,
totally.
You trade and you build relationships with your suppliers and your crew. And I want the people who I work with the most to understand the brand before the online digital world understands it. So I've been trading as Paper Friends for 2 years now. And in 2025, the world will see what we have to offer.
Because what cool stuff have you been doing?
Well, we've been doing really cool short films, music videos, docu. The Nasty C documentary was under my company as well.
What?
Yeah, I've just been
Hey, we need to put one of those crazy buttons somewhere. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
A whole entrepreneur?
A whole entrepreneur. She's
female?
No, she's coming to take
Oh, wow, this is great because this is part of why this podcast is there. And if for me as an entrepreneur, it's just really about how do we have a community or a platform that shines a light on what we do. And this is really it, to be honest with you. I'm really so happy to hear that. Then I just say, oh my word, that's quite great to actually know. I didn't know that, you see?
Yeah.
This is why we have the podcast, right? Wow, and how are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling nervous as well. I think just as a fellow Virgo, we put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect and want to perfect something. But I think I'm just ready to share it with the world and see how they receive it. I feel like I'm doing something different, and I hope that people see and feel that.
Now, as long as you're happy, I think that's what counts. And I strongly believe, when you do things with love, when you lead with love, when you put your best intention in your actions, there ain't no way you're going to lose.
No, honestly.
There ain't no way, because when you put out love, it just comes back. And just listen to your story, just about how you started out, and everything has just been leading with love. So I know for a fact you won't blow.
Thanks. And even if I do blow, it's a lesson, and something better is coming,
And that's it. Yeah. No, we deserve this, because sometimes as us folks, the one thing we never want to talk about, especially as people of color, to be honest, we tend to talk about everything else except the important things.
Yeah.
I mean, look, still now we hardly talk about money in relationships, right?
Yeah.
Amongst each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're still fighting over who pays the bill.
I mean, not me, but
right? Yeah. It's important that we are able to have these discussions, especially where we're winning. You have the youngins out there who are also trying to find ways of just learning.
Yeah.
And it's important that you do these things, because this is what's going to inspire the kids who are behind us, or the kids who are currently doing it and they don't know where to move next. And many times than not, what I tend to hear from a lot of people is just they don't know where to hear the right information from. And it's always that part which I feel like is very important. The fact that you're here, you're sharing about your company, how you starting, and the work you've done. You've put in all of the work already, and I'm like, girl, you done. So music videos, are you more of an advert or music video person?
Ooh, I like ads for the money.
I know, right?
I like ads for the money, and I like music videos for the creative and the narrative. To be honest, I think I always just want to be someone who floats in between. I never want to have to choose
box yourself.
an expression. I think that they are different and they are cool in their different ways. So I can appreciate both.
Okay. And tell me a little bit more. Are you still styling?
No, I'm actually not. Styling was my in. It was my way into the creative space, and I think I'll always have a love for fashion, and I'll always have a love for playing dress up. I just think that it comes out differently now. It's no longer in the styling realm.
That's just used. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get it. And what you working on currently right now? That's cool.
Currently in like prep for like a movie that is hopefully gonna change my life.
First movie?
Yeah, first feature that I'm producing. I've been like a production manager on one, but this is like my first baby.
Is it that one there?
Oh no. No, so that was just the clapperboard. We were shooting a music video, and I work with Yoza quite a lot. She's one of my favorite directors. She's actually one of the first directors I started with in my career, and we've been able to grow together throughout all the years.
What's her name?
Yoza.
Yoza, shout out to Yoza, the hand of the song with.
Yeah. Shout out to Taki Fiction.
Yes.
Yes, that was just a moment that I was really proud of, like, my company name being there. And it's also difficult in this industry to trade as a company that no one sees, because the client just has to trust that you can do it without sending them a link to your social media. And I think that was
the work has to translate and speak for itself.
The work has to speak for itself, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's dope. And if anything, what you have to say, if anything, to the people out there, what would you like them to know?
Whoa, pressure. For the people out there, I think I just want them to know to keep pushing. And keep trying. Remember to show up for yourself. It can be confusing to hear information coming at you from all corners, but you need to understand you are the one that needs to trust and make sense of it all. It's not on someone else giving you the go-ahead to live your life. You have to choose that for yourself, and you have to know who you're going to listen to and who you're not going to listen to. And just you're way more powerful than you think if you just try.
Man, that's beautiful. No, thank you, Chloe, for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you believe that we're almost hitting an hour mark?
Yay! No, one thing about us, we can chat. We can chat.
Oh wow! I mean, so how you feeling now?
I'm feeling much better. Yay! I had to also get outside of my comfort zone and be a talker.
But the more I listen to you now, to be honest with you, I just love the fact that you do that.
Yeah.
And that's important, like doing is very important. And there's a Steve Jobs interview that really changed my life. I watched some years back, but he just alludes to the fact that he talks about a lot of people miss to get the experience that we're talking about, just the wins and everything else, just because they just don't know how to ask.
Yeah. And also, one thing I always want to add is don't see everything else in your story as an obstacle, because it's really not. When I was working at a call center and I was working as a waitress and I was doing these odd jobs in retail, it was so easy for me at the time to think of that as I'm so not on my path. I'm like completely left. But when I think about it, all of those situations prepared me perfectly for where I am now. And had I not gone
all
through
those
that,
skills, Wow, that's important, hey, and keep doing it. Please don't stop. It's very important that we have people who look like us doing this.
Yeah,
it's very important that we shine a light on the work that that you're doing and that we're doing overall, and the fact that it's all you're also female, man. And it's also a very amazing time in the space that's been really dominated, with the male and our Caucasian brothers. But just you coming through and just showing us this, it really gives hope. I'm a big fan, to be honest with you.
I'm a big fan of you too.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, look at the work. I'm really a big fan, and I'm really inspired by you, and I know a lot of other people are inspired by you. Thank you once again for being on the show. And in closing, what would you like to say?
Shout out to everybody that holds space for me in just life and who has contributed to me being this well-rounded individual. And thank you for creating the space for us to come and talk and get to know each other better. And I just really appreciate being a guest. I feel so honored. I'm excited to see our lives unfold.
Exactly. Now, thank you once again, Chloe, for coming through. And that's our show today. Creative Lens. I'm Uncle Dyce. We out. Peace.
Bye.